Hi, can I ask you a question? Okay, good luck. Can I ask you a question? Who represents you in your government?
I really don't know.
Do you know the name of your senator?
I really don't.
Okay. Who represents you in our government?
Jeez, that's a good question.
Yeah. What's the difference between Congress and state legislature?
Oh, wait, the mayor?
Do you know who your state rep is?
Well, it's pretty clear that most of us don't know that much about how our government works. And how are we supposed to be good citizens if we don't even know what representative democracy is? After hours and hours of questioning the citizens on the street, I decided I was going to have to get some real answers from an expert.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
What are you doing here?
Well, I wanted to ask you a couple questions if you don't mind.
Okay. How'd you get in?
Oh, Aaron brought me down here.
Aaron.
Good friend of
All right.
ours.
All right. Well, have a seat. What can I do for you?
Okay, great. So here's my first question. Now, I've been asking all over about representative democracy, and people don't know what I'm talking about. Can you tell me, once and for all, what is representative democracy?
A representative democracy is a place where the citizens, ordinary people like you and me, decide who the leaders of the government are going to be. And the leaders then take our decisions and take them to the government and tell the government what to do on our behalf.
So isn't it better to learn more about it?
Oh, sure it is, because it'll make them better citizens and better capable of ruling themselves.
Okay, so I get it. I'm supposed to be more involved with my government, know who's representing me. But my question is, do they care about me? They care about my needs.
Well, it's easy to be cynical about politicians these days. But the fact is that the way that representative democracy is designed depends on them doing what the voters want them to do.
That makes sense. You're kicking it old school now. Well, let me ask you this. Why are politicians always fighting with each other?
Well, because they represent people who have different points of view. We don't all agree on everything. If we agreed, we wouldn't have to have a government. We wouldn't even need rules. We'd just do what we do and we wouldn't disagree.
I got it.
Good.
Well, I really appreciate your time.
Well, I'd appreciate it if you'd come during my office hours next time.
I will call first. Awesome.
Can I have my hat back?
And yeah, you can. See ya.
Okay, take it easy.
Sensors are indicating that Professor Gloom is planning on sliming the city.
Quick, let's get in our action jets and get over there before it's too late.
Hey, little hero dudes. What's going on?
We're about to save the day again, that's all.
Sounds cool. But you know what else is cool? Representative democracy. Yeah!
What?
Hold on. You know what representative democracy is, don't you? Well, what do you think it is?
I have super hair.
I'm a monkey that can fly.
What about you, kid? What's your superpower?
My super brain can control people's minds.
Wow. I can control time.
How does that work?
Well, let's put it this way. I never turned in my homework late.
With your superpowers, what have you done to improve your community?
I've stopped like 3 bank robberies in like the last week.
I stopped a falling piano from crushing an old lady.
I have once put out a whole forest fire by just waving my hand.
Okay, all right. But let's imagine if you didn't have superpowers. How would you help your community?
First of all, I would recycle. And second, I would join a neighborhood watch program.
I would help plant a community garden.
So those are good, but is that it? That's all you can do?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's nothing we can really do to improve our government. We can't even vote yet.
We're just kids, and some of us are monkeys.
I don't think I even have a voice in our government.
Lawmakers don't even care what we think.
They don't.
They don't? Have you met your lawmakers?
I don't even know who they are.
You don't know who your lawmakers are? How would you remedy that?
Let one of the humans do it.
Guys, this is great and all, but we need to get to the Capitol before Professor Gloom releases his terrible slime everywhere.
Do it.
I'll let you guys take care of that. I'll see you later. Preamble's big in this town. It's Independence Hall. That's where they signed the Constitution. Maybe we'd make a few more laws today. 7, 38, 49, 50. Whoa, see, can you see? Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Could you tell me, what is this building?
You're at the National Constitution Center, great museum in historic Philadelphia.
Okay.
And we're about telling the story of how the Constitution was created right here on Independence Mall. And then also trying to tell people a story about how the Constitution is relevant to them today.
Gotcha. So you would probably know what kind of democracy we live in.
We have a republic, which means that we have a government that requires active citizen participation. Everyone has to participate.
This applies to the Constitution as well, right? Because I know that you can change the Constitution.
The Constitution has changed. When all the signers that are in Signers Hall signed the Constitution, you and I couldn't vote. Amendments like the 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote, and that was just in the 1920s. Over the 225 years since it's been written, we've had 27 amendments. They made the document more inclusive of we the people.
That's awesome.
There's a really cool story coming out of the Constitutional Convention. Ben Franklin walks outside, and a woman says to him, "Sir, what kind of government have you given us?" And Franklin says to her, "A republic, madam, if you can keep it." And that's really the lesson in it. If you can keep it. In order to have a republic and a democratic government requires active participation with all levels of our government.
Okay, wait a minute. Levels? What levels?
You know, the 3 levels of government. Local, state, federal.
Federal, state,
Listen,
local.
I'll tell you what, why don't you go talk to some of those folks and you let me know what you find out.
Done.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
How you doing? I'm looking for some local government to represent how they represent. How about you throw me a bone?
Absolutely. What do you need to know?
Well, I'd like to know, how local government makes decisions that affect me.
Laws on the local level are called city ordinances. City ordinances determine the hours of parks and pools, how the trash is picked up, where to put new stop signs, how to fund the police and fire department, when the fire department gets a new fire truck, what to do with stray animals, whether or not fireworks are allowed in your community.
I like big fireworks. Is there an ordinance about how big the fireworks can be?
Well, sometimes when cities prohibit the use of fireworks, they happen to put on a big fireworks show so all citizens can enjoy it.
I like them to twinkle. So why are these issues determined by local government rather than state government?
Well, communities vary. One city with a couple thousand people, their issues are much different than a city with millions of people.
So how can I communicate with a city council person?
Lots of ways.
Break it down.
You can go to the city council meeting. You can go to the mayor's office and talk to the mayor.
I'm in the electronic age, How can I bust out a tweet? Can I email you?
Facebook me.
That's the local government I'm talking about. So what about driver's licenses? Do local governments give those out?
No, you need to talk to your state legislator about that.
Can you help me with that?
Absolutely. There's a state legislator over there.
Right there?
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Excuse me. Can I talk to you for a second? Now, I heard that you are on the state level of government.
That's right. I'm a state legislator.
Let me ask you a question. Is it true that you guys make laws concerning driver's licenses?
Yeah, that's right.
So what else are you guys responsible for on the state level?
Well, we deal with a lot of issues. We help fund kindergarten through 12 education, courts and prison systems, implement hunting and fishing licenses, and we maintain our state highways.
So what specifically have you been working on lately?
One piece of legislation that I introduced last year was banning texting while driving.
Thank you. Well, how do I get a hold of you?
I love hearing from my constituents. Give me a call, you can write me.
Do you tweet?
I tweet all the time.
I can't believe you said that. Well, here's my issue. I got a whole jar full of pennies. Now, I heard someone's trying to do away with the penny. Who do I talk to about that?
Well, our money is a federal issue. You're going to have to talk to your congressman about that.
Oh, I see what's going on here. Passing the buck. Can you show me to a congressman?
Absolutely. There's one over there.
Oh, man, thanks for everything. I appreciate it. Excuse me! Can I talk to you for a second?
Absolutely.
They're trying to do away with the penny.
That's handled by the U.S. Treasury. That is part of the federal government. The issue with the penny is that it costs more to make it than it's worth. So there's consideration of doing away with the penny.
What do you do?
Well, I appreciate you asking. I am a member of Congress. I represent a district of, about 500,000 people. So I go to Washington, D.C. to look out for the interests of my constituents.
So you reside in 2 places, in your home state and in D.C.?
That's right. I keep my main residence in my home state, but I'm in Washington, D.C. quite a bit, working with my fellow members of Congress, of which there are 435 in the U.S. House.
What else are you responsible for on the federal level?
One of the big things, of course, is defending our country. We have a very large military. There's the U.S. Marshals. You have the FBI. We print dollars. We make coins. We have regulations to ensure clean water and clean air, diplomacy and foreign affairs, and trade rules with other nations.
So federally, you got a bunch of issues. But what makes them federal issues as opposed to local or state?
Well, the U.S. Constitution spells out what the federal government is to do. Our founding fathers were from the states, and so the states came together to create the federal government and be more effective as a union as opposed to individuals. So those are things we've talked about, like defense and the system of money and foreign affairs and space travel and so forth.
Thank you so much for your time.
I'm really glad to be of service.
Well, all this information you've given me is absolutely gold, especially the stuff about the penny.
The penny, actually, that's copper.
Thank you!
So the really interesting thing about the marble at the Capitol is that it all came from a quarry in the southern part of the state. It took 100 workers 2 years to chisel it all out by hand. Now see, if you look up here, the really interesting thing that you'll see is...
What's going on here?
Nothing. We're just on a boring tour. I wish we could see some actual lawmakers.
That could be arranged.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, come on, let's go. Hi, could you put me with some legislators? You got it. Hi. Can we borrow you for a minute?
Absolutely. Come on in.
How you doing?
Hey, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Guys, come on in. We got a couple questions for you.
Well, welcome to the Capitol.
Don't be nervous. We're just here to ask you some questions.
Okay.
What kind of tools do you use when there's a disagreement?
You know, for me, I try to look for understanding.
Well, you sit down and you talk about it.
I try to listen first and look for a point of agreement.
And then you talk about it some more.
I am one of those who reaches across the aisle, makes sure to bring all of the stakeholders together.
Sometimes you even talk a little longer.
Is compromise an important part of your job?
Very much so. We all have our beliefs, but in the end of the day, we try to compromise.
And sometimes not every party gets exactly what they want.
What kind of issues do you deal with that affect us as kids?
You know, we do a lot of things that affect children, especially as it relates to education, from curriculum to evaluating teachers, also school lunches. The other things are like curfews, juvenile justice laws, a whole range of laws and things that we can do to impact children, hopefully in a positive way.
We're gonna let you get back to work, do our thing. Let's go.
Okay, I hope I have a politician here. Take care.
Now, because of that, since that day, they have never served Brussels sprouts in the Capitol's cafeteria.